It was supposed to be the perfect anniversary. We had mapped everything out. From the dinner booking at the nicest spot in town to the quiet stroll by the lake afterwards. Sarah and I had been together for 2 years and I believed we were stronger than ever. I couldn't wait to celebrate our bond, to show her how grateful I was for everything she had brought into my world. We arrived at the restaurant and Sarah looked radiant. Her dress glittered in the soft glow and her smile made my heart skip a beat. I felt lucky to have her on my arm and I couldn't wait to enjoy the evening with her. The waiter guided us to our table and the night felt flawless. We laughed, recalled our first date and talked about dreams of the future. It was the kind of evening that felt endless. I never knew that only hours later everything would collapse. Midway through dinner her phone buzzed. She glanced quickly at the screen before setting it down again. At first I ignored it, but I noticed she seemed distracted. Her focus wasn't with me. We finished eating, and as we left the restaurant she grew unusually quiet. I told myself she was just tired, but as we strolled toward the lake, I saw him. Her ex. I didn't need to ask who he was. She had told me about him before. The guy she'd been with before us, the one she insisted wasn't right for her, but the way her face lit up when she saw him told another story. He walked up, hugged her too long, and a knot twisted in my stomach. I tried to tell myself it was nothing, just friendliness, but then he leaned in, kissed her cheek, and as their faces lingered, their lips brushed just for a second, and their eyes locked. I knew in that moment something had shifted. My chest tightened, anger welled up, but I held it in. This wasn't the place for a scene. I turned and walked back toward the car. She called after me, asking where I was going. Her voice edged with worry, but I couldn't answer. All I saw replaying was her kissing him right in front of me. When we reached the car, I knew I couldn't let this slide. Not this time. I wouldn't stand there pretending nothing had happened. On the drive back, the silence was unbearable. She kept saying it was nothing, that it meant nothing, but the image wouldn't leave my mind. When we reached my place, I asked her to wait outside. I needed time to breathe, to sort through the betrayal. I was furious, confused, but I also knew this wasn't about a kiss. It was about respect, about loyalty, and she had broken both. I spent hours thinking of how to respond. I didn't want drama, but I also couldn't just swallow it. I chose to write her a letter. It was short but sharp. It said everything I needed. It wasn't only about the kiss, it was about the dishonesty, the fact she had even let herself be in that situation. I ended it with a line, "I'm done. I won't be a second choice or clean up the chaos you and your ex created." When she read it the next day, she blew up my phone begging for a chance, swearing it was a mistake. But I had already decided. I had seen the truth in that moment, and I couldn't unsee it. The weeks after, I poured myself into work, caught up with old friends, and started living for myself again. When she crossed my mind, I reminded myself of the lesson I had learned: never let anyone treat you with disrespect, no matter how much they once meant. A month later, I ran into Sarah at a coffee shop. She looked different, smaller, somehow regret heavy in her eyes. She tried once more to say sorry, but it no longer carried weight. I had moved on and found my peace. I listened as she said, "I never meant to hurt you," her voice trembling, but all I felt was closure. I told her it's okay, but understand you can't play with people's feelings. You don't get to live both lives. With that, I walked away, knowing I had chosen right. That kiss had been the moment that showed me her truth and forced me to see my own worth. It wasn't revenge, it was self-respect. And in the end, I was grateful I made her regret losing me.